December. Last December, I got a phone call. And this was weird because it was someone who found me on Instagram, found my phone number on Instagram and called me to order a print, which that's the only time that's ever happened, I think. And he said, "Hi, my name's Ben. I was interested in one of your limited edition, very limited edition, 16 by 20 contact sheet prints. That's a print of a scanned contact sheet of the Clash gig from the um, the Lyceum in 1981, October the 18th, 1981. They did 7 nights at the Lyceum. This was the first night. So he said, "My name's Ben," and then it turns out he lives in New Orleans. So, like, oh, that's great. I'm actually coming out. I said, "I'm actually coming out in March. I bought tickets ages ago to see Poetry." So Poetry, or Poetry in Motion, is Spider Stacy and Cot O'Riordan, otherwise known as Rocky O'Riordan, who were in the Pogues. Loved the Pogues. Took pictures of them back in the 80s. Spider and Louise Stacy live in New Orleans. And Louise, we were in touch because she entered one of my competitions for a giveaway of a Paul Weller print. She didn't win it. But so we were in contact. So I thought, oh, Poetry is playing in New Orleans at Tipitina's. And it was, coming out of COVID. I thought that's going to be my first trip. I haven't been to New Orleans since 1984 when I worked on Spandau Ballet's I'll Fly For You video. So I told Ben, I'm coming out to see Poetry, and it's actually Poetry. It's Spider and Cop with Los Bay Ramblers, who are a local, I think they're actually from Lafayette. They're like a Cajun band, Acadian/Cajun band. So he said, oh, well, then he starts telling me about his band. I'm in a band myself. Oh, what band are you in? So it's called Preservation Hall Jazz Band. So that sounds great. He said, well, would you like to take pictures of the band? So while we're talking, I'm looking up Preservation Hall Jazz Band, and my eyes are getting really big. And that sounds amazing. I was just getting back into rock and roll photography, trying to, make my way back in after 25, 27 years away from it. So I said, yeah, I'd love to do that. So we arranged that we'd meet when I got down there. And then I'll finish the story on the phone call. He said, I want to buy this picture of the Clash. And then I'd also like to buy a print of David Bowie for my friends Win and Regine. So again, my eyes went like this. Win and Regine are your friends? I said, I love Arcade Fire. I've loved Arcade Fire since the first album. He said, yeah, they live here. I said, I didn't know they lived in New Orleans. I thought they were in Canada. He said, no, they've been here for a few years. And I said, wonderful. So he ordered, we finished the conversation because after an hour, Ben said, I'm sorry, I have to go. And he just hung up. And things like that happen. And they're like, I didn't close the sale. he didn't buy the print. That was really weird. It was a great conversation. When you meet someone and you just like connect immediately, and we just chatted for ages about music. So I didn't hear from him for 2 days. And then he called me back. And in the meantime, I look up Preservation Hall Jazz Band, Arcade Fire, Win and Regine. And it turns out that Arcade Fire and Ben Jaffe went to Haiti. They did this whole fundraising thing. Arcade Fire have a lot to do with Haiti. Paul Beaubrun is in the band. He's from Haiti. And all these connections. And then I read about Alan Jaffe, his father, who was a preservation musician. He and his wife came to New Orleans in 1961 from New York on a road trip, and then they fell in love with it and stayed and ended up owning and running Preservation Hall. And Ben was basically born there, grew up there, and became a Preservation Hall musician. So 2 days later, he calls me back and he said, I'm so sorry I had to hang up on you. While we were talking on the phone, my mother passed away.
Oh my God.
I know, right? I mean, I lost my mom, 14 years ago. I didn't really know what to say. She was sick. It was kind of expected, but still, it was literally in the middle of our conversation. So, how that kind of somehow bonded us. I think it was a very like kind of reaction and feeling. So anyway, he bought the prints. He arranged for me to shoot the band, and then when I got here, met the band, and I can't explain the feeling being at Preservation Hall and then going to the back to the courtyard. I don't know if you've ever been, but It's a really, really special place for someone who loves music and loves jazz. And then the people in the band, I've never experienced so much kind of warmth and friendship from people I just met who are musicians. I'm just used to rock and roll, punk. Just back in, I can honestly say, I never had anyone's phone number in my life. No one ever gave me their phone number. Maybe my friend Nasher, who was in Frankie Goes to Hollywood, he gave me his phone number. But you know, everyone gives you their number, and you follow them on Instagram, and they follow you back, and you message each other, and I send them pictures, and I just never experienced anything like it. So by the end of that week, Ben introduced Arcade Fire to me, and then they hired me to shoot their shows at the Toulouse Theatre. They hadn't played for 2 years. That was an incredible experience. End up on the stage, at the back of the stage with Arcade Fire, shooting that picture where they turn around. And I thought that was exceptional. I didn't realize that that's what everyone does these days, because I've been out of that so long. I thought this was the most amazing thing ever. Win looks over to me and he says to the crowd, let's get a picture. And he looks over at me and I'm like, me? You want me to go on the drum riser and take a picture? Yeah, apparently that's what they do now. So, yeah, by the end of that week, I ended up staying longer. I was supposed to be there for 4 days. I extended my trip so that I could hang out with Preservation Hall Jazz Band. They had a bunch of events over the weekend, keep shooting them. And then the Arcade Fire shows were Sunday and Monday, and they hired me to do that. And by Tuesday, when I went home, I decided to move here. Called my realtor. She came over on the Thursday, put the house on the market on the Sunday, sold the house on the Thursday, came back about 2 weeks later, um, met a realtor on the Thursday morning to go and look at places, found this place, made an offer on the Friday, had it accepted on the Sunday, and came back again for the second weekend of Jazz Fest and stayed in my new house, sleeping on the floor, and then moved here at the end of May. So
Wow.